Good evening and thanks for watching Times News with me, Eric Nsigiti. First, the headlines. A latest UNICEF report exposes how COVID-19 ravaged lives of children in Malawi. Tobacco Commission is to review the current Tobacco Act to address weaknesses in the law. And President Lazarus Chakwera and former President Joyce Banda respond to calls by 23-year-old Dorothy Banda, who lives with a disability. We have these plus many other stories. Stay with us. In our first story this evening, latest United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF Malawi Annual Report 2020 has exposed how COVID-19 ravaged lives of children in Malawi. The report, which has been signed by UNICEF Malawi country representative Rudolf Schwenk, says during the year health facilities across the country experienced shortages of supplies, impacting care for newborns and pregnant women. Deogracious Imana has more in this report read by Fale Banda.
The report says disruptions to community health services meant many people living with HIV, including adolescents and mothers, defaulted on their antiretroviral treatment. It also says while admissions for child malnutrition declined as parents avoided clinics fearing virus contraction, late presentations to nutrition units contributed to under 5 mortality rates, climbing well above accepted minimum standards. According to the report, over 22,000 children were admitted for severe acute malnutrition and another 108,000 developed diarrhea, whose treatment faced logistical challenges, as by mid-year many communal water points serving the poorest households in urban and peri-urban areas started to be disconnected as water board fees went unpaid. Further, 58,000 cases of violence against children were also reported, and another 13,000 cases of child marriages. In the education sector, 7.7 million learners were kicked out of their classrooms because of pandemic, and many failed to access online learning. Health spokesperson Joshua Malango said the ministry will give a comprehensive response to the report after reading it. He was quick to add that the ministry has a fully fledged department that handles nutrition. Health rights activist Maziko Mademba, who is in agreement with the report, said the major problem in the fight against COVID-19 has been disruptions in health services due to lack of adequate information and costs attached to free health services, like the demand for masks from poor patients. UNICEF supported the government of Malawi to fight COVID-19 by, among others, mobilizing $17 million for programmatic activities and $6.3 million for procurement services.
Fale Banda ending that report, followed by Deogracious Imana. The Tobacco Commission has revealed that it is planning to start reviewing the current Tobacco Act, which according to the Commission has some weaknesses. TC Chairperson Harin Kandawire said though the Act is relatively new, some areas are still wanting, as questioned by some farmers. Sam Kalimira reports.
Among other weaknesses, the new Act stipulates that farmers on contract should only sell their tobacco to companies they are in contract with, despite offering poor prices. Mkandavide then said this is unfair to the farmers who end up thinking contract farming a robbing system.
You find that when a farmer is contracted to a tobacco company, that means he's stuck with that company. Now, if the company wants to bring down the price, the farmer's got no choice. But what we want to go to Parliament and say, okay, if you don't want to buy a certain classified tobacco, the farmer should have a right to sell it to anybody else, rather than being forced to say no, you have to reduce the classification.
Mkandavire also said Tobacco Commission has received complaints from farmers that the Tobacco Act should clearly interpret on what constitutes child labor, arguing some children are found in the tobacco field not as laborers but to learn tobacco farming from parents. Nkhani said in Malawian context, children learn different skills and knowledge from their parents and guardians, and tobacco farming is not exceptional. He then said once Tobacco Commission finalizes the review, the act will be presented to the Minister of Agriculture and Justice for scrutiny before it goes to Parliament. Minister of Agriculture, Lowe, said he is aware of challenges farmers are facing in tobacco industry, stressing that the government is committed in making sure farmers get the best from their sweat.
President Lazarus Chakwera and former President Joyce Banda have responded to calls for help for 23-year-old Dorothy Banda, a woman with a disability, at Kosolo in Nzimba district. The gesture comes after a Times group brought to the limelight Banda's plight, who due to her mobility challenges has throughout her life failed to attain any form of education. The bubbly Banda said in Times Chuchuchu program that President Chakwera was her only hope. From Nzuzu, Sam Karimira reports.
After watching, reading and listening to the girl's story, former President Joyce Banda procured a wheelchair and food items which she forwarded to the President's office to be presented to the needy girl. Representing the two leaders, Member of Parliament for Nzimba South East constituency, Axon Kalaide Banda, said Chakwera and Banda were both shocked with Dorothy's situation. He said they declared that some children and other people with disabilities are denied access to education and that some of their rights are violated because they have not been supported in several areas, including mobility.
Then the former president called me actually. It was a repeat now, the program was on repeat. Then they called me, are you watching Times? And I'm saying no, watch Times. Then when I went to watch Times, I was a bit far. When I went to watch Times, I find that the program was over. Then I called her back that yes, I've watched Times, but there was a different story. Then he told me, no, there's a story of a certain lady from your constituency who needs help. So I think we can do something because you are reflected, you as an MP of that area, and again, the president as the president of this nation.
The MP who revealed that Dorothy has been connected to a technical college in Salima where she will go for tailoring training and she will be fully supported and given startup capital and materials like a sewing machine after completion. Dorothy's father, Simoko Banda, he will no longer block her daughter from utilizing her skills, saying he regretted the decision he made about her in the past.
My daughter should go to school to learn, and I'm very thankful for the gesture.
Reacting on the donation, Dorothy said she is happy that she has finally benefited from her vote.
I'm very thankful for the donation of a wheelchair and food item. I'm short of weight. Only God should bless them.
Dorothy Banda stays at Chimgonda village in traditional authority Kosoro in Nzimba district.
Sam Kalimira. Experts have cautioned that the level of planting trees is not matching the rate at which forests are being depleted in the country. Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Resources Senior Lecturer Steve Magungwa and Chief Forestry Officer Titus Zulu disclosed this on Friday. The two have since announced the launch of a global land forum, Lilongwe chapter, to restore forests. Matthews Kasanda has more in this report.
The two say the survival rate of the trees being planted in the country is between 60 and 65%, which also contributes to the deforestation. Makungwa has therefore indicated that there is a need for institutions and individuals to join hands in restoring the country's forestry landscape, and that the launch of the forum seeks to achieve the same.
Yeah, we do realize that for us to address issues of land degradation, deforestation in the country, it has to involve every Malawian. It has to play a role in one way or the other. What we haven't done before is to have a coordinated approach to for our platform that can bring everybody to participate into this initiative. This is where, at the global level, there's already this digital platform, which is called Global Landscape Forum. And they're encouraging countries to form chapters under that global platform. So this is where we felt as a country we need to form this chapter, where we can actually form a platform where every Malawian, including our development partners, they can come together, share our knowledge, share our experiences in terms of landscape restoration.
Zulu said the government is committed to restoring the lost land cover and needs support from different stakeholders. As such, the forum, which is to be launched, complements the efforts.
We challenged ourselves with a very high restoration level by the year 2030. And we would like to get as much support as possible from all stakeholders, all institutions that can manage to do so, and all the projects that can assist us to reach to our target by 2030.
The forum will be launched on Friday next week.
Now, located in the central region of Malawi, Kasungu National Park at the border with Zambia was once a popular tourist destination. However, 20 years down the line, one can feel that poaching has left the country's second largest park a desolate amusement place, as Pilan Gajinziri finds out in this special report read by Audrey Kabaramula.
Once teeming with abundant species of animals, including elephants, Kasungu National Park is now an embodiment of a ghost forest. Animal densities have fallen low. Lifupa Lodge, which was built in the middle of the park to accommodate tourists, looks spooky and deserted. Scores of species of wildlife which used to come to the man-made dam at the lodge to quench thirst have drastically dwindled. The once nicely built bungalows at the resort have become an abandoned homestead. The lodge, which is managed by Parks and Wildlife, a government department, has no electricity despite a 3-phase electricity wire passing through it. Over the 21 kilometers that time's crew traveled from the entrance of the park to the lodge, we saw no animals except birds. This was despite an assurance from some of the park authorities that there are about 100 elephants. One of the workers at the lodge, Jacob Charles, admitted the decline in the number of guests because of poaching.
We used to have a time which the full lodge is booked. It was booked. But of now, maybe we used to have 2 or 3 customers per month, of which tells us that in terms of guests coming, it's not as what it was in the past.
After traveling over 100 kilometers to visit the park for the first time, Ellen Sanga was frustrated and bitter that except birds, she did not see the animals as she had anticipated.
I was expecting to see some animals like zebra, elephant, but to what I've seen here is contrary. I've never seen any animal.
Chief of Party for Malawi-Zambia Landscape Project, a joint project by the two countries to combat wildlife crime, Patricia Ndadzela, says as Kasungu National Park used to host 1,500 elephants 20 years ago, but in 2015 the population had dwindled to 40.
The idea is to ensure that the elephant populations in Kasungu, Lukusuza and Luambe in Zambia increase, and that poaching-related mortalities decrease. So far, there are 4 strategies. One is to engage the communities, to build capacity. Secondly, for law enforcement workers, cross-border cooperation, Zambia, Malawi. But also, we try as much as possible to ensure that our prosecutors, our judicial systems are strengthened.
Along the border of Malawi and Zambia, home to 3 stunning national parks in southern Africa, namely Kasungu, Lukusuzi and Luambe, poaching is particularly severe. However, Malawi-Zambia landscape manager Lakalongela Ngambi sounded confident with the progress done so far in combating poaching.
We have done a tremendous job, because the elephants that were not as much, now you can see them all over, and even, causing all those damages that you hear about. So there's been a lot of improvement in terms of the animal populations here.
However, there seems to be life at the end of the tunnel for the Kasungu National Park, as in 2017, IFO, International Fund for Animal Welfare, with the financial assistance from United States Agency for International Development, USAID, launched a combating wildlife crime project to protect elephant populations along the Malawi-Zambia border landscape. Game rangers from both Malawi and Zambia have also been equipped with relevant skills to combat the crime. Joseph Jauluka is an instructor of rangers at the park and is confident that they will win the fight.
I can see that we are winning the fight, since we are working with our colleagues from Zambian side, and also we are working with the communities themselves, because this system of poaching is coming from the communities themselves. So if we don't use the communities, we cannot win the game.
Ndadzela emphasizes that the project has several objectives, as he explains.
We'll be locating about 200 elephants. There are already about 100 here in Kasungu. And we think that with the 300 elephants, that would be a viable population. And we expect that at the rate of 5 to 7% increase every year, we should have, I think, a bigger population in Kasungu in the next 5 years.
Statistics from IFO show that as of 2021, at least 1,926 people have been arrested through this initiative, and 2,762.48 kilograms of ivory seized. Then perhaps life at Kasungu National Park will revert to normalcy.
Audrey Kaparamula editing that report, followed by Birani Kajinziri. You're watching the news right here on Times Television, TTV. We'll be back shortly after this break.
Ikolole kungonjezera mayunits atnm kuyambira 200 kwacha kapena kuposera pamenepo mutha kukhala mmodzi mwa mamilioneya mu TNM Tikolole promotion. Koma mukaonjezera mayunits ndi 100 kwacha kapena kuposerapo mudzilandira mabonus oyimbira foni, SMS kapena data pompo.
TNM, always with you.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile?
All that in one toothpaste?
Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Welcome back, and still in the news, Muslims in the country have been urged to continue praying to God and doing charity work even after ending the holy month of fasting of Ramadan. Lilongwe Islamic Information Bureau Coordinator Abdul Azizi made the remarks on Friday at an event that marked the end of fasting. More in this report by Matthews Kasanda.
Azizi said Muslims need to continue reaching out to those in need whenever possible and live in peace and coexistence with others. He made the remarks on Friday at Kankota Mosque in Lilongwe during an event that was organized by Umodzi Muslim Foundation, which also brought together Muslim children to learn the Holy Quran.
I would like to urge my fellow Muslims to continue doing a good work even after Ramadan has gone.
Umodzi Muslim coordinator Duncan Chipande said the event marked the end of Ramadan period.
I advise to all Muslims that they should continue whatever they have been doing during this fasting, the whole fasting month of Ramadan, because our Prophet really advises that we should be grateful and we should be honored to the people, and then we have to help those who are really needing the help.
Muslims fasted for 30 days.
Malawi Congress Party has accused the Democratic Progressive Party loyalists in government departments and agencies who it says are sabotaging government work. Campaign Director Moses Kunkuyu said this on Friday during a rally at Chirimba School ground as part of Kamuzu Day commemorations. Jameson Jauluka reports.
Kunkuyu specifically said the National Economic Empowerment Fund, NEF, is infested with DPP loyalists who are throwing spanners in the loan disbursement process to disgrace the Tonsta Alliance administration. Kunkuyu said justice institutions such as Office of the Ombudsman will clear the people who were not employed in accordance with the law and sabotaging government. He also called for disbandment of village development committees, saying they need to have people who share Tonsta Alliance administration's vision for the country.
There shouldn't be politics applied in that. The president said that time and again. Now we are saying, we know there are those people that are sympathizing with the opposition. They are still in NIF. NIF is still infested by those people. We have many government institutions that still have cadets operating in there. They should forget about politics. They should, depart from applying politics at every step of governance and look at the general picture that Dr. Lazarus Chakwera is trying to advance to benefit every Malawi. So we are saying, there are those cadets. We know them. The system is sweeping. We should sweep faster because people in Blanda are waiting for those loans.
On Kamuzu's legacy, Kunkuyu said Dr. Banda laid a strong foundation for the country and is worthy to be remembered.
In other news, a female Lions Club has been launched in Lilongwe with the aim of empowering fellow women in the country. Female Lions belonging to Lions Club of Matipo District 412B, Malawi and Mozambique facilitated the launch and said it has plans to help government in empowering women across the country. Wezi Gausi has more from Lilongwe.
Lion Clara Malunga made the remarks on Friday during the launch. She says women empowerment is the only remedy to have a society of women that are independent.
So these symposiums are arranged so that as women we should come together, discuss these things, help each other, find ways on how we can find our balance and go on, as it were, in the new normal that is we are living in today.
Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Affairs, Patricia Kariati, hailed the Female Lions for the move.
It is a very good and charitable organization where women are empowered. Yeah, since then it was established, there are no women. It took Helen and Anne to say, let's women take part. And this is what we are looking forward in each and every challenge. When we are looking for solutions, let's women also be part and parcel of the solutions.
District Governor for Lions, Multiple District 412B, Ken Banda, says women empowerment has been in the club for ages now.
We recognize the important role that women are playing in the development of the country, but also in our service goals where we provide service to the communities.
Meanwhile, the Female Lions have called on women in the country to join the club.
And that's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines again. The latest UNICEF report exposes how COVID-19 ravaged lives of children in Malawi. Tobacco Commission is to review the current Tobacco Act to address weaknesses in the law. And President Lazarus Chakwera and former President Joyce Banda respond to calls by 23-year-old Dorothy Banda, who lives with a disability. You've been with me, Eric Nsigeti, but remember you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. That was the news with me, Eric Nsigeti. Good evening.